Sir, ready?
Rotate your device.
Okay, we start.
Uh,
You're on the line. Yes or no? 3, 2, 1. Are we there?
Direction correct இருக்கடா.
live போகுது.
Okay, so a very good evening.
சைடுல பட்டன் அழுத்தி பிரஸ் பண்ணு.
பண்ணிட்டேனே.
Greetings from Salem. Yeah, I stole his line today. Totally. It's time to dive into the vibrant world of Adenium with our FB live session today. Exotic exclusives. And whom do we have here? None other than Mr. JFR himself. And he's a true horticultural trailblazer, a man who has popularized adeniums in this country. And now he has become synonymous with the most authentic seller and probably the most genuine source of information that you can get about this hobby. So I'm thankful to all those who have tuned in, all the green thumbs who have joined us to share their enthusiasm for all things adenium. So people, just stay tuned till the end of this show. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we have very special giveaways planned today. And Mr. JFR, he'll be selecting the person, the lucky winner who will be getting this giveaway. And not only, there's a lot of learning.
3.
Okay, so reflecting on your journey so far, is there anything like a regret, or will be there something that you would go back in the past and you would like to change? Maybe when you were younger, something that you would have done differently, that you could have done differently. What is that one thing that you feel about?
Yeah. My greatest regret was losing some of my mother plants because of COVID. Because I was planning to do bigger pots during that time. And I was planning to hire designers from China and Thailand. But unfortunately, I could not bring those people because of COVID. And in the process, I could not design these pots on time. Because of that, I had happened to lose a few mother plants, which I regret a lot.
Okay, so the pots that he is referring to are like crazy white pots. You can stand 4 people, 5 people. I guess you have seen them already in the pics on the JFR profile. But that is very different from seeing them live. So I have had the opportunity to witness that in person. And I guess every plant enthusiast should have this place on their bucket list and should be a must visit for all of you. So going ahead, what do you think social media has played a pivotal role in popularizing this adenium craze?
Exactly. Because the Arabicums have become popular in India only because of social forums. Back in the year 2008, FP made its debut. And ever since then, adeniums have been on an uptick. And the trend goes on.
So this is something very positive that you can take from social media. We are more negative there, but this is something really positive. So do you think the craze for imported plants is still there?
I don't think so. Because now Indians have really grown up. Indians, I mean, about 90% of the modern day seller are much better than what it was about like 15 years ago. So I don't think we are far behind, and I don't think there is any advantage with an imported plant. The so-called tag, maybe a tag only, but the bridge has completely narrowed now. So I don't think.
Okay, so this brings us to a question by Sunil ji. He wants to know what's your strategy to deal with your competitors, and we have all seen subtle hints, mentions in your post somewhere here and there. So how do you plan to take everyone together or maybe still be the best? Beauties, the Arabicums. So first question up here is, are there any particular adenium varieties or hybrids that you find especially fascinating or challenging to cultivate?
Yes, both. It's true. Fascinating, I would say, is bigger the rock. I would say bigger from the rock, and to an extent, some of the gaudy hybrids.
Okay.
Challenging, I don't want them to be similar all the time. Bloom or extremely intricate overlapping bloom. So you try to concentrate on some parameters and then pursue that character.
And all of these are already under process, and I have seen them happening right here. So you can expect new things coming up very soon. This exact point that you raised has also been questioned by Miss Nisha, who asked which classic is your favorite and why as compared to the new age adeniums.
All my favorites include just 3. Pechpana, number 1. Number 2, Yaksaudi. Number 3, Rachini. And there are reasons. The first mother Pechpana arrived from the wild. And the first Yaksaudi came from Yemen. We are supposed to call the Yaksaudi as Yemeni actually.
The 3 top wish list plants that you need to have. So, as you rightly said, when it gets repetitive, it's very difficult to differentiate. So, as a newbie, how do we really make sense of all the new IDs that we see every day for an Arabicum? And does that really make a significant difference?
That's a wonderful question. Of course, it's true there are a lot of new IDs. Try to find out their genetic makeup. Always try to find out who are the parents involved. In that way, you have a fairly easy understanding of what to expect from the hybrid. And by knowing about the parentage, you knew how well this plant is going to develop in future. If it's true, if the parental heritage is true.
Okay.
So that's the best way to do it. Started by the IDs. But you have every reason to be a judge. You can be judgmental about the fact of the parents. So you always try to put some questions and find out the lineage.
The lineage I understood, but does the size and the quality also matter? Like not just the ID? Would you like the people to go for a picture of the mother plant or something of that sort when they're buying plants?
I'm not talking about the picture of the mother plant.
Okay.
But you see, your neighbor may have big bucks and big plants, but they may not be beautiful plants.
Okay.
So pampering differs from every person at the same time under the geographical parameters as well.
Okay. So next question up here is, unlike Obisum, why don't we have so many colors or multi-petal options when it comes to Arabicums?
That's a wonderful question, and the great Dr. Mark Demit always wanted to do that, and he had also requested me to do that again. So anybody can do that if they have enough time. I can give you a wonderful clue how to do it. You first need require first, and then take this product Arapam with a multipetal Obisum, or you can pollinate with a multipetal Arabicum.
Okay.
Arapam cross, okay?
Multipetal Arabicum. Or Obisum.
Yes, and then next stage you have to again back cross and cross to bring more colors.
Okay. So
This cannot be usually,
Okay. So this.
but it can be an achievement.
I think Mr. Govind Singh must have tuned in, and this is the answer to your question right here, and probably the next challenge that you have to take up. So now, because I'm an endodontist, I'm going to shift the focus on roots. Roots are very important anyway. So the number one problem that I think everyone faces is root rot. So what are the do's and don'ts? What we think that watering less is good to prevent it. Maybe giving a smaller pot size is something which can prevent the root rot. And third thing that I know is the media should be good. So anything that
Needs warmer temperature. We all wet the plant, but the roots actually require warmer weather. So in a situation where the soil is constantly wet, the root cannot derive temperature. So this is the number one reason for root rot. Number 2, inadequate ventilation. Don't cramp the plants. Don't ever cramp the plant. There should be some space left.
Okay. Then again, how many times a month should we give fertilizer to the plants? What kind of fertilizers can be given, and what is the best fertilizer to take care of the precious plants? And is there any difference between how do you fertilize a DHA and how do you fertilize an Arabica?
Alright, before talking about fertilization, you must always understand you require a lot of active leaves in the plant. Very often people think offering fertilizer for a poor plant can make the plant wanted to give some fertilizer, go for orchid first in the form of NPK with low N value. And again you offer fertilizer only before 9:30 to 10 a.m. or after 4:30 p.m.
Spray?
Foliar.
Foliar spray.
Yeah, and water should be absolutely wet prior to foliar fertilizers.
Okay, you have to do the wetting first,
Yes,
then proceed with the foliar spray.
And not after 10 a.m. You must complete the job before 10 a.m.
And mainly blooms then?
It's not going to work.
It's not going to
Yes.
work. Okay. Okay. And another question has been there about the defoliation. Is it necessary step to do the defoliation? Like for preparing for the winters, is there really a season which
Not
is
really.
always...
For example, when the winter is approaching and if you are frequently encountering pests, to avoid pests you may defoliate. Only to protect them from the pests. Otherwise, we don't defoliate any of the stuff. We defoliate only when we prepare plants for dispatch. We can control a bit of that via defoliation, but we shouldn't make it a regular habit out of it, because plants will be badly stressed when you do that.
And what about hanging? Like I've seen many posts
Yeah, we
where
can hang.
you hang the plant.
It's a very good question. One of the reasons why we hang a plant is when we wash a plant. But
No, like
hanging is the best way to store a plant. Let me put it this way.
okay, so like recently we saw some posts which said that for the winters it's better you uproot the plants and store them
That's
inside.
right. That's right.
And then again you repot them, so that is advisable.
Yes.
Okay, so if you have the space, then you can obviously go in for that. Okay, come up next is after repotting now, because you have decided that repotting is must. What should be the care, or can you place it in direct sunlight, and how many days to avoid? What is the ideal time frame in which you should see the leaves coming back? Is there anything that has to be observed?
That's a good question. Yeah. If you're talking about seedlings, in front of me over here, we did it outdoors. But we have temporary nets. For example, to protect them from sunburn, we use nets shortly after potting.
Okay.
We protect the corex and the root with nets.
Okay.
And we protect the soil surface also with nets. So this way, they don't develop sunburn even before they generate foliage. Now foliage acts as an umbrella. The
Next higher size, then you just need to give a shade net for few days.
Yes, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And what's the ideal season to repot?
January to June.
January. Okay, great. Then again, this is a very hot question. How do you explain the compactness of an Arabicum? What is actually meant by
Those branches are shorter than the body. And when I say body, that is inclusive of roots. So, in this case, the root would be over here. And this pot is almost like 12 inches tall. You will have roots up to about maybe 10 inches. Yes. To me, this is a compact Arabicum. And don't expect them to stay this way, because they may lose their shape for any reason known to you. So don't take it too seriously, but just love them as much as possible like any other plant. I hope you got the answer.
Okay, and another thing is like post monsoons or post rain, there has been a mention that there has been elongation of branches which has been noticed.
Yes. So the reason is basically high presence of nitrogen in the rainwater can elongate those branches. But again, one way of controlling them during that period is, if you're lucky to see sunlight immediately, the branches may not elongate.
Okay.
If you place all your plants in a cramped manner, plant matter
Okay.
and dung must be very, very old.
Powder manner, very
Yeah.
old. Okay.
Otherwise, I have received some complaint from North Indian people that the vermicompost they use is not so rich like what is found in South India. And they have not had great results. But if you do not want to use vermicompost, engage leaf litter. Leaf litter is very good.
Suggest that do we incorporate it, not, and what percentage if yes, and how
No,
does
cocoa
it
chip.
help?
Cocoa chip. We engage about 30% of cocoa chip. The only purpose of cocoa chip for us is moisture retention. Out here, we water the seedlings almost on every day or maybe twice a week. There are just too many in my small collection. It's impossible for me to do the wetting by evenings. So we have to do the wetting the moment we arrive here. So that is the reason we trust the cocoa chip. But actually our plants grew much faster on pith, cocoa pith,
Okay.
the crushed one. But unfortunately, they can trigger a lot of root rot during rain or monsoon. So we have abandoned cocoa pith completely. I mean, do this. This is okay, fairly good.
Okay, so you can have when you are having a good ventilation and your plants are probably exposed direct to sunlight and you have not kept them under shade, so you probably have to see how fast the media is.
Oh, remember,
drying.
we've had the wettest last 3 years here in Salem.
Okay.
And this last 3 months have been the only exception. In spite of such heavy rains, we did not lose any. Only because of cocoa chip.
Is it?
Yes.
Because,
But if it was cocoa pith, things would have been much worse.
okay. And how much is the fungicide quantity needed? Do we need to spray that very routinely?
No, we don't offer fungicide at all to soil. We don't treat soil with fungicide.
Okay, just the spray.
No, we don't.
No, not even the foliar
No,
spray.
even when I do reporting, I don't use. I leave it to the immunity of the plant. I don't use.
Okay. You have a big heart.
Yeah.
But probably for people like I have got questions from practically all people of how to avoid the pain of losing a DHA. And how
Deeper pots, root protection, more than enough. And in case if you want to apply any fertilizer, go for the orchid ferts. Any ferts that are engaged for the orchid, that could help your DHA. That's about it.
that's a very important tip here that you have to go for orchid foods.
Yes, because DHA the leaves are very demanding.
Okay.
The moment they lose leaves, they don't get new leaves immediately. It's always essential for you to maintain a very healthy leaf count, and they can drink a lot of water. They can drink a lot of water.
Okay, so this again comes another question about the curly leaves. Like in a normal plant, which is not a DHA, are the curly leaves or crustate formation any kind of a disease? Does that indicate that the plant is diseased?
Crustaceans.
Yeah, if a normal plant is starting to have some amount of curl in their leaves.
No. That could happen because of extreme temperature. That's not a disease.
Okay,
And crustata is actually a mutation.
okay,
When the meristematic cells are arranged horizontally, whereas in all plants it's arranged vertically. So when the cells are assembled horizontally, that results in a crustata.
okay.
That's about it.
So that's just natural.
Isn't a disease?
Nothing
Definitely not.
has to be done about it.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of a bacterial rot also?
Yeah. Can. In case your soil is too filthy and poor.
So you have any component of soil or it's completely soilless, the mix, the potting mix?
Now about 30% is soil, what you see right in front of me.
Question again, how to differentiate between a true crispum and a crispum hybrid?
Oh, very easy. The true crispum bloom intensity will be phenomenal, and the nectar guidelines will be so deep, and it's like love at first sight. Not all crispum will bear crispy baby leaves.
Okay, so that the
In my
bloom is more important.
Believe me, in my experience, the hybrid crispums present more baby leaves than the true crispum. It's always watch out for the bloom. But there are about like 20 to 30 kinds of true crispum. That's where people have to concentrate on the flower repeatedly. But don't expect baby leaves from every crispum. And another thing I noticed in crispum is, if you place the crispum, is a true crispum? Or not really. I have so many hybrids of crispum showing quill petals. So
Okay.
it's only something to do with the intensity of sunlight.
Sunlight.
Yes.
Okay. So you probably have to go through a lot of literature and then you can decide, or you have to have the observation skills of Mr. J.F.R. And then, as you talked about the pots, like for a DHA, we need a deeper pot. So what are those plants which will require a wider pot as compared to the depth, like where it should be more wide and less deep?
Yeah. Presentation is a wonderful topic, and everybody has got their own imagination. For example, if you would like to present your shrub into your tree form,
Okay.
a shallow pot is better. So my suggestion always is, when the young chooser offer a deeper pot,
Okay.
and then design the roots and present them in a shallow pot.
Okay. So root designing.
But if you are interested in plant breeding and interested in pollinating and propagating a lot of seed, never engage a shallow pot. Shallow pot is basically only for aesthetics.
Okay. So again, this brings us back to the roots. What is root training, and is that
Three ways of root training. Either you present a plant naturally, training the roots naturally as they are, or chop the bottom and make man-made roots. So when you chop the bottom, yeah, I think can you see this? So we induce small centipede roots from here, and then we start training them from this stage.
so? It's truly said that the
Yeah.
JFR
So
plants are pot breakers.
It takes only 3 to 4 months for me to develop such thick roots.
Okay, you can see that so beautifully divergent roots here.
But I don't want every plant to be alike, so I prefer to leave them on natural roots.
Okay.
What's the point if all the plants are alike? Yeah. So I don't prefer. But people can learn. It's very easy for them to chop the bottom and we happen to remove them immediately.
And what is the ideal stage of plant development where you would start that, like as a seedling, as a year old? When can you really start doing this?
At any
Root
time.
training.
If you attempt root training with a 1 year old, they develop roots spontaneously and quickly, and they fatten up quickly as well. But if you're going to try them too young, what happens sometimes is you have more roots than the in sync with the top. Sometimes the root is more beautiful than the plant. But what's the point?
What's the point? So this is another question by Ms. Nisha here. Is pruning only a part for the aesthetics, or is there any other reason why we should prune the branches?
No, well, some people, like, not all plants are blessed with a lot of branches, right? When you have more branches, you get more flowers. No, there's no point in comparing what nature has given us, It's impossible to develop roots as good as those from the habitat, number one. We can try and to train a plant close to one that is in the habitat. But in my view, the one from the habitat and one from domestication look completely different. No matter if the cortex resembles the habitat plant, but then one from the habitat is a true survivor, true warrior, but not the one that's under domestication. There's no comparisons over there. Yes, plants, we can improvise our techniques and develop a globular cortex. That's not impossible. We can do that.
Characteristics of the habitat plant?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
Okay.
Because nobody knows about the soil pH, soil chemistry, soil composition, soil pressure, soil temperature. We do not have enough data on this topic. We do not, for instance, let's talk about Socatranum. Nobody knows what feeds the wild Socatranum. I have about 1,000 Socatranum in a small collection, but not one resembles the one in the habitat.
Okay. So some things are really precious, like the habitat ones that you get. And another question is about cross-pollination. So when we are doing a cross-pollination, which character will be superior? The donor plant from which we are collecting the pollen, or the receiver plant? What?
Only when the plant grows, you realize which is the dominant force.
Okay, it can go either way.
You won't be able to predict.
Okay. So you, recently you
For
had
example,
posted-
a crispum cross Arabicum and an Arabicum cross crispum. Make no mistake, a crispum cross Arabicum and Arabicum cross crispum both can throw differences by reversing the parentage.
Recently you had posted a plant which
If we get viable seeds, big if.
big if. Okay. So now we are back to you from the plants. So there are many questions, but I guess we are running out of time. So Mr. Mujawar asked, do you intend to mass produce some of the rare exotic?
And a lot more Arabicum.
Okay. The first time today I've seen a Giga's bloom also.
But let me tell you, the Indian plant market hasn't been back to the pre-pandemic levels. So I'm waiting for the day when market will pick up, and then I can launch a lot more new stuff.
Okay, I guess it could be the other way around. When you
Never knew.
you can get a good response. Okay, so when are you publishing your book, or when are you coming up with your YouTube channel, and that everybody is waiting
Our
for?
YouTube channel very shortly. You'll be there for the launch, definitely.
Okay, there's been a request to make an operating manual for different types of exotics, like a short, brief guide on how to care for them. And then a very, very important question: when are we expecting? Then again, I'll just take one last question: seed grown or branch grown? Which one is better in case of RCN?
Oh, obviously the branch grown. Always remember, the branch grown is as old as the first mother. Every Archean branch that we have all originated from the first few branch cuttings the late king of Thailand brought from Saudi Arabia. So
But then isn't that an old plant? Will it find it more difficult to adjust to the newer climate? as
no.
compared to a seedling?
Let me put it this way: we don't source from that cutting anymore.
Okay.
But whatever cutting people have got, all originated from those first set of cuttings,
Okay.
and these behave very differently.
For those who are planning to take it up as a profession or become professional sellers, so what will be your
Hobby. Always make sure you talk very openly, freely, and fairly about plants with everybody, and try to bring in more people into the hobby. Always remember, you must try to teach as much as possible when you meet another fellow gardener, that's the only way we can make the hobby grow better and produce plants in a much better scale and try to upgrade everything. When you help your friend, you should be so proud that his plant is going to look more beautiful henceforth. As far as sellers, I would say, always try to concentrate on ability to sell, because they've learned selling but they've not learned how to make plants.
There's a book which is How to Sell Anything to Anyone. So don't go read that. First read Mr. JFR's book on adeniums. Okay, so now for the special giveaway, we have two special winners. One is for the best question which is selected by JFR, and then we'll be doing one for the participants. So tell me, which is the question that you found most interesting so far?
I think
Giveaway?
PPP, Arebicum DHA.
Okay, DHA,
One more.
you have already learned
One
how
more,
to-
first winner.
How to care for it. First winner is Mr. Girish. Okay, and now we are going for the second winner. So, okay.
No,
You
you do
choose?
it. Let me hold.
No,
You
no,
can-
I guess then we
Yeah,
somebody else.
Shruti. No.
Okay, please, okay, thanks.
If
All of
we have
yours?
skipped any of the